music down and trying to get the sun out my face. It's Friday. What's going on? Okay. We down. Here's a lot of stuff to talk about. I have a few things to talk about. Let me get myself situated first. I hope everybody's doing well. She had to take a day off. Girl, Diva was feeling like out of sorts, so I needed to get away for a second. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need to be talking about anybody. Needed to be looking at Erica. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on, y'all? So first of all, first things first, I did watch Beverly Hills. I watched New York at this morning. I woke up like 1:30. I just popped up and I was like, okay. Look at the crows. Okay, well, it's like today I only see 2 under this tree right here. Where's the other one? I don't see another one. It's just 2 today. They under a tree though. It's cute. What are y'all doing? Anyway, so yeah, I had to just spend some time to myself on yesterday morning. I just had to, make my coffee, have some, practice some self-care. You know what I'm saying? So that was the tea for yesterday. While yesterday was happening, this morning, so I watched I watched New York this morning, and then I watched I May Destroy You this morning as well. The latest episode, I guess episode 6. I do want to talk about it, so maybe we'll come back here tomorrow. We are not going to have enough time to talk about all the stuff I want to talk about, because I want to talk about Beverly Hills. I want to talk about New York. I also want to talk about this morning, Tamar Braxton was rushed to the hospital. Her fiance found her unresponsive. It looks like she may have taken something. So I hope that she is okay. Like I said, the people that we got to check on people. He was there, but you never know. You don't know what's going on. Also, I hope she's okay. I hope she wakes up. This being at home and sitting with yourself and not being too social in terms of like closeness with other people, it is affecting people in different ways. There's another one. I don't know if that's the one of the 2. I don't know, but he's sitting right here. And I think it's affecting a lot of people in a lot of different ways. People, I don't know, I just hope she's okay. And then yesterday, Nick Cannon, he sent out a few tweets that said that he said he found out some things that are, he said, here he is. Did he thread this? Oh, he didn't thread it. He said, on my podcast, I use words and reference literature I assume to be factual to uplift my community. Instead, turned out to be hateful propaganda and stereotypical rhetoric that pained another community. For this, I am deeply sorry. But now together, we can write a new chapter of healing. I just had a blessed opportunity to converse with Rabbi Abraham Cooper, director of the Global Social Action, Simon Wiesenthal. My first words to my brother was, I apologize for the hurt I caused the Jewish community. Morning, what do you say? And then he says, morning radio family. I have decided to take some time away from my radio show so I can commit myself to a deeper, more thorough reflection and education. I will use this time to establish an action plan towards real impactful change and advocacy aimed at bringing people together. I will continue my gratitude. I continue to express my gratitude to the rabbis, community leaders, and institutions who have reached out to me to help enlighten me. Their input and friendship will help me as I further commit myself to a more profound learning and towards strengthening the bond between Black and Jewish cultures every day going forward. He sitting down with I guess that's him, a picture of him and Rabbi Cooper. I guess they recorded their conversation. Then he says, I hurt an entire community and it pained me to my core. I thought it couldn't get any worse. Then I watched my own community turn on me and call me a sellout for apologizing. Good night. Enjoy Earth. And then about an hour later, that was at 10:58. And then at 11:27, he says, y'all can have this planet. I'm out. Honey, I know how that feels. Like I said, I would ask, and I'm sure he did ask, where can you point me to what I said that was anti-Semitic? Because at the end of the day, if you are talking about a group of people, I think it does help to have a person from that group of people to correct you when you are talking about history. Like, again, I still say that he talked too much. I still say he could believe what he could want to believe, but he should have let Professor Griff talk. Because he was, like I said, he seemed like he was so excited. And then even Professor Griff said at one point, now the video has been taken down, so you will not be able to watch it. People have posted clips, or still clips running around. And also the video yesterday, remember yesterday I posted the video that I had a critique of him where Nick Cannon said that white women were almost like the prize for him attaining success, be able to access white women. That video's gone too. And that was just a year ago. Okay. So a year ago in February. So that video is gone too. I think a lot of the Cannon's class videos were missing. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I kind of went back and looked, but I was like, I don't really care enough to continue my search to look if he deleted all these photos or videos. So what are you gonna do? What are they doing? I don't know, but I like the park right now because it's like cool. It's a bunch of geese in the field over there, and some man is walking. But yeah. So hopefully they were able to point out to him, hey, you know, this was wrong. What you said, this was wrong. And he could see, you know, I still do believe that Jewish community does weaponize their oppression to feign accountability and responsibility, right? Because it's almost like, okay, Black people, like, you know, it's almost the same to say, okay, Black people, these are the things that are affecting your community. Oh no, but my ancestors were slaves. Don't say anything to me. You know what I mean? And I feel like that happens a lot. So hopefully they have a great conversation. The rabbi can point out where his anti-Semitic comments were, and he can move forward, you know. And that's it. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing across the board. If somebody was on stage talking about Black people and having opinions about Black people, we would at least want a Black person there, okay? Or somebody, you know, somebody there to be like, no, that's wrong. You shouldn't say that. Same thing with the LGBTQ community. If you are having roundtables and discussions about that community, you probably want somebody from that community that can help you say, oh no, that's wrong, you shouldn't say that, that's anti-gay, that's transphobic, whatever. I think that is good. Now, I don't think anybody would have met with Professor Griff. I don't know if he tried, but that probably would have made probably an even better conversation, one, and would have helped say, you know, this is untrue, here are my documents to support why I feel like that. And so now he's upset because everybody's like, you weak, why you apologizing to them? And that's what everybody's saying to him. So he's like, now my own community's turned on me. So like I said, let the men support Nick during this time, because he has made himself clear in other arenas and has not come out and said anything else different about how he feels in proximity to white women. So I mean, that's another story, but I had that was just February of last year. Maybe he has changed his views because that video no longer exists. It's gone. So maybe that's what it is. All right. So that's it for Nick. Like I said, we hope Tamar is doing okay. Something else that happened. Oh, hold on. Let me go to my notes here. Oh, okay. So Megan Thee Stallion she was allegedly shot by Torey Lanez. So I hate, a Virgo, they love to hate to tell you, I told y'all, instead of worrying about Kylie, be worried about the nigga with the gun. Didn't I say that? Okay. So allegedly he shot her in the foot twice because she was trying to leave and he didn't want her to leave. This is the story, right? Now, these perspectives haven't been, the only thing that Megan came out with and said somebody shot me, harmed me with the intent to harm me. Somebody shot me with the intent to harm me. And that was their intention. Committed a crime against me with intent to harm me. She had to have bullets taken out of her foot. Now, the statistics support that, we hate to say it, but it is a fact that out of 100 women, 40 of them will be in a domestic violence situation in their lifetime. 40% and 20% of 20% will be psychologically abused. We talk about men being rejected and how they respond to rejection. Now, Torey Lanez is the treasurer of the Lollipop Guild. So being rejected by a stallion might make his ego feel a certain kind of way on top of alcohol, right? You've been drinking, whatever the case may be. Megan's security guard posted and saying he's not going to leave her side anymore. He wasn't there. If he was there, none of this shit would have happened, and won't be no short people shooting people in they foot. The fact that Megan has not said Torey Lanez's name, like he shot me, or her best friend who was with her, the fact that they didn't mention his name, nor said like, oh, the story doesn't have anything to do with Torey, but the part about me is untrue. Like, let me set the record straight. I was not arrested. A crime was committed against me with intent to harm me. They didn't mention Torey Lanez, neither one of them. Black women, unfortunately, have this, I don't know if you could say, a inclination to protect black men from law enforcement, even when the crimes that are committed against them. I've been in a similar situation twice, right? 2 domestic violence, one with my brother and one with my child's father. And both the one time the cops showed up and I asked the cop, I said, oh no, trying to diffuse it myself, because I don't want the cops to take him away for fear of what will happen to him, right? It's like we protect our abusers, and it's so sad. And with my brother, I could have called the cops on him. I didn't call the cops on him. He could have lost everything. I could have called the cops on him and said, I have just been assaulted. No, but it was domestic violence. I was violated. You know what I'm saying? And I had witnesses. Now, I don't know if my family would have I don't know if they would have supported me, because a lot of the women in my family are victims of domestic abuse. So I don't know if they probably and remained with the people who abused them. So, but and you stay with them. So I don't know how I would have been supported in that, And a lot of times, like, why would you do that? Why would you take a black man down? All of that stuff. And a lot of the times, to our own detriment, when you say you're not protected, the people who are supposed to protect you are beating you, and you in turn are trying to keep them from being a victim of police brutality. It's a crazy thing to deal with and to have to grapple with. So the fact that she didn't mention his name or say anything about him, maybe her lawyer was like, don't mention his name. Everything will come out. Apparently there's video of the incident occurring. But they're not going to release it because there has to be an investigation. And if he shot her, What do you do, prison abolitionists? What do you do, right? And I watched the Grapevines panel and discussion on prison abolition, and I want to watch it again because it was so many things. I was in there that when they were basically explaining we have to get away from the idea of punishing everybody for things. But these are violent, like gun violence and things like that. That's where I'm just like, I need to watch it again so I can, like, maybe they talked about that, because how would you deal with that? What would you do with the Torey Lanez? Tell him he's from Canada, so what do you tell him? He can't come back to the United States? You know, like, what do you say? Like, what happens? And I also want to see collectively how men and women in our community are going to support or not support Meg in this. You know, this is a black woman who allegedly has been shot by a black man in her foot because she wanted to leave. She wanted not to be in the situation anymore. Didn't we just talk about 3 weeks ago, of a girl rejecting a 18-year-old, rejecting a 30-something-year-old man, and he hits her in the face with a skateboard? Or the woman who was pushed on subway tracks. This was years ago, but from a man who she, said she didn't want to give him her phone number, so he pushed her on the like, the rejection. To reject a man can mean a woman's life. So when you say, well, why do y'all give out numbers to these niggas and they don't, and you give them the wrong number? Now you can't even give them the wrong number now, because they will stand there and call the number with you. Like, that's violent as shit. Like, that makes me feel like weird even thinking about that. Like, you give your number to somebody and they call you right then and there to make sure that you didn't give them the wrong number. What's going to be the consequence if I did give you the wrong number? What you going to do? You understand what I'm saying? And so rejecting a man can mean a woman's life. And I don't understand how men don't put that together or don't see that. That's why you guys get fake numbers. That's why you guys get fake names. That's why you guys get Google numbers. We got to give you something, even if we're not interested in you. We got to give you something, because the rejection could mean our safety. We could be violated for rejecting you. And if you don't understand the craziness in that, then y'all are lost as fuck. If y'all can't see that, so I hope they get it resolved. Every day something new comes out with something, but it is what it is. Evelyn, yesterday I saw it, and I watched a clip of Evelyn on her Instagram talking about Chad Johnson. Ocho Cinco wanted me. Ocho Cinco wanted me. Okay, so here's a scenario. I want to put it like this. This is your homegirl. Think of Evelyn as your friend. And just think of that, and we're going to set the picture. We're going to set this up, okay? Think of Evelyn as your friend. Now, Evelyn gets online, and apparently Chad posted a tweet that said 3 seconds. He made a bad decision in 3 seconds, and his life was forever changed from those 3 seconds. Ocho Cinco wanted me. So imagine your friend is dealing with this guy, and he said 3 seconds of his life, and his life was forever changed. And it triggered Evelyn. First of all, who sent it to her? Is she following him? Why doesn't she have him blocked? Those are my first questions. Because, no. I'm trying to find this. Hold on, let me see. So Evelyn makes a video because Chad said something to the effect of that 3 seconds out of his life has changed his life, and she was upset and she was triggered, right? So she makes a video and she says that it was a trigger for her and that it wasn't the first time. Okay. She says that she's not going to allow anyone to take her away from her truth. He says, I lost my temper for once in my life for 3 seconds, and it cost me a lifetime's worth of work. I got it all back, plus some after getting a second chance, and nothing will ever get me out of that happy space again. And so she was triggered by it. Now, she says it wasn't the first time. I remember she said in the video, I don't want to play it because she's crying and I just don't want that vibration. And she said, as a victim, and then she said she didn't want to say anything. She kept quiet out of respect for the children, her children, his children. And she says, and I know that to a certain degree, I contributed to how people see me. Yeah, Evelyn. Okay. And I've embarrassed people. And she also said that her relationships are different than the person that's on television. So to me, I feel like, why are you portraying this person? Haven't you grown out of this person? Because we can understand the first Evelyn coming through and being mad and reckless and jumping across tables, but you're still behaving in the same way just last year, right? Okay. She says, don't let people make you feel like you're wrong. She says she's never lied about any aspect of what happened to her. And no one's going to take her away from telling her truth. I agree. I'm not going to let people harass me. And she says she's embarrassed by her past behaviors. So I had a comment, and I thought to myself, one, for her to, this is what I said. I'm just going to say what I said about Evelyn, because I think that if Evelyn was my friend, right, and I thought about this yesterday, and I was like, if she was my friend and she had a domestic violence situation with her husband and she got a divorce, and then later she, in the attempt to go against another woman, called her abuser, the same man who abused her, to help her in the embarrassment of, to try and embarrass another woman in an effort to feed my ego, what would I tell my friend? What would I tell my friend if she did that, right? And then to come back and to be in full tears because you have been re-triggered by your abuser getting online and saying that it was only 3 seconds out of my life. I would be so mad. I would be so mad, right? Because nobody wants to be seen as in the negative light. So to me, I feel like Chad should not have said 3 seconds or anything. 3 seconds, and Evelyn says it was more than one. So now you have another instance of a woman protecting the legacy of a man and his name, because to this day there are people who tell Evelyn, Tammy Roman is one of them, you were the cause of the breakdown of this man's career. And you yourself are as violent, and you have exhibited that behavior so many times that we now consider it a pattern. It's not isolated. This is a pattern of behavior that you have. So now when you're coming and saying that you're being abused, now we're like, okay, girl, well, you're very violent with people. Are you sure this was just a one-sided thing? Were you both fighting? But she says she's never lied about any aspect of the story. He has never come out and said, to my recollection, he hasn't come out and said that her story was inaccurate. But there are men and women who still to this day taunt Evelyn for telling on Chad, right? You destroyed this man's life, right? What would you tell your friend if you saw her online crying about this man? my thing is this. Hold on, where is my tweet about Evelyn? I'm gonna read it because I said it yesterday, and I thought to myself, I was like, I would be mad. Oh no, wrong section. Would I be mad if that happened? Hell yeah. Would you? Would you be mad at someone who violated you and she got a scar on her head from him? You know, and some people say she headbutted him. Some people say the story is he headbutted her. Nobody will know unless he says, I didn't do it, and he told somebody, and that person told somebody. And, you know, it's so many ways that you can take this, right? And then you could just not take her side at all because you don't like what happened with her and OG, right? And not use those as two separate instances, but conflate it because the behavior, like you really called your abuser to help you embarrass another woman to feed your ego because you in yourself have these colorist ideas, and there's no way in the world that a man who wanted this, you know, butter pecan Rican, how could he want this woman who I used an emoji of an orangutan to describe? And so you called your abuser. Honey, we were on your ass about that. You really did that. You really called your abuser in an effort to embarrass another woman. So this is what I would say to Evelyn. Evelyn, you need to get in therapy. One, in order to continue to heal, right? I think it's the best thing. And then two, ask your therapist, why do you continue to re-victimize yourself when it's convenient? Because you did call your abuser and ask him to help you embarrass. And they embarrassed her. Remember how it turned out? They doing celebrity basketball games together and everything else. I didn't get to watch Marriage Boot Camp yet. We'll probably have to come down here tomorrow and do that. But that's what I said. What are you going to do? I would ask my therapist, why do I continue to re-victimize myself when it's convenient? Because she was really crying. What was going through your mind when you decided you wanted to embarrass OG on television? To the point that you called him and was like, let me see, or tell me what happened. And he lied to you. And then gave you text messages. And the irony of that is, in that, he continued to abuse you. You were the one left looking foolish and silly, not OG. You wanted to, but he helped OG and made you look foolish. So why did you think that he was going to be on your side? You was going to call him and he was going to help you. Like that, I would ask my therapist, why did I do that to that woman? What made me? You need to look into that. What made you do that? What made you call your abuser and reactivate that to embarrass another woman? And then ask yourself, why did you want to embarrass that other woman? What is it in you that you didn't understand so much so that you had to contact your abuser? I would ask my therapist that. Definitely. Because a lot of people see it as convenience, Evelyn. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you on here crying, and it's going to be hard for people to be empathetic with you. Because not only was OG just a black woman, this is an African woman, Nigerian woman, dark skin, with strong features in comparison to to yours and or to what you believe is pretty, right? Because you didn't understand that Ocho Cinco wanted her. You didn't understand that. And then you went, like, I'm not going to say it again. So that's what I would ask my therapist. And that's all I got to say about that. Evelyn should ask her therapist to help her through the fact that she re-victimizes herself when convenient, to the point where she called her abuser to help her go against OG. And now, while I get she's frustrated with Chad's trolling, because I would be mad. People aren't going to be empathetic to her. it's like this man victimized you, but yet and still you needed this man to help you embarrass another woman. Like, sis, you gotta unpack that. How do they say? Unpack it. You gotta unpack that shit. Anyways, y'all, what else I got to talk about? What y'all think about Evelyn? Have y'all seen it? That's all I got. You know, like I said, we talked about Tamar, we talked about Nick, and Megan and Evelyn. Right? So y'all tell me what y'all think about that. I don't know when this episode of Nick talking to this rabbi, when that's gonna drop. I don't have any information on that, so I guess we'll talk about it when it happens. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other, protect your energy. I'm actually gonna come back and talk about New York and Beverly Hills. I don't know if I'm gonna come back today. Might have to come down here tomorrow. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see how much time I have. All right, y'all, take care of each other, protect your energy. Peace.